Mr. Netanyahu must be feeling increasingly isolated, increasingly out in the cold. Because of yesterday's meeting with Kamala Harris, the recent developments with the UK's stance on the ICC arrest warrant illustrate this growing isolation for Netanyahu. Vice President Kamala Harris's remarks and the UK government's withdrawal from the previous conservative position signifies a shift in diplomatic dynamics, which must make Netanyahu feel as if he's now sharing the Smeg fridge with Mr. Putin. Keir Starmer's government has distanced itself from the proposals of the previous administration. He has opted not to challenge the ICC's jurisdiction over issuing arrest warrants for Israeli nationals. This decision comes after increasing scrutiny of Israel's actions in Gaza, with the ICC prosecutor Karim Khan seeking arrest warrants for Netanyahu and Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. The characterizations by Rishi Sunak, former Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's of the ICC move as deeply unhelpful underscores the contentious nature of this matter. However, the UK's new position under Keir Starmer's government aligns with its traditional position that it's for the court to decide such matters, and that fits in quite well with Keir Starmer's record as a senior lawyer in our country. The government spokesperson reaffirms this, noting that the court is well equipped to handle the arguments independently, and the British government is not going to challenge the courts. I think that's a very positive position to be in. So we're not going to see another one of these Rwanda situations where the British government is constantly battling with the courts, whether in this country or abroad. The policy shift has met with an interesting range of reactions. The Jewish Leadership Council, the Board of Deputies, has expressed regret, suggesting the decision undermines the UK's historical support for Israel's right to self-defense. This isn't about Israel's right to self-defense. This is about Netanyahu crossing the red line from self-defense to belligerence. And they have pointed to the broader implications, including the UK's restored funding to UNRWA, which they argue signals a drift away from staunch support for Israel. Any support has to be qualified by a recognition that the country we're supporting follows international law. I'm not convinced Netanyahu has followed international law. It's not as clear-cut as the invasion of a neighbouring state, a foreign country, a sovereign country, because Gaza is not a sovereign country. And Netanyahu was responding to an outrageous and an horrific terrorist event. And at what point, one probably should ask, did he overstep the mark? And that's a much harder question to answer. I think it's worth putting it forward. How many people is too many people? Is bluntly the question. My own ethical position is that one person is too many people. And if you can't solve a problem without surgically removing the danger, then you are always in a position of compromise. But that is politics, and that, I'm afraid, is war. I'm not convinced that Netanyahu did the right thing to declare war on Gaza or war on Hamas. That's a matter of opinion. I am completely convinced that Israel has a right to self-defense. I just don't think this is it. Human rights organizations like Amnesty and the Palestinian Solidarity Campaign have welcomed the UK's decision, of course. Sasha Deshmukh of Amnesty International described the previous government's stance as misguided and praised Keir Starmer's government's decision to withdraw its objections. It's not that Keir Starmer is actually doing anything, it's that he's just pulling back from doing something, which is a sort of convenient legal tactic. It's not a signal of great support, but it is a big change from the previous government. These events reflect a broader trend of international pressure on Israel regarding its policies and actions in the Gaza conflict, and the UK's recent moves could indicate a recalibration of its foreign policy, potentially affecting its relationship with Israel and its stance on international legal standards. In my opinion, the UK government's decision to defer to the ICC's jurisdiction is a step towards reaffirming the importance of international legal organisations. That is a plus. While it may strain UK-Israel relations, it reinforces the position that allegations of war crimes must be addressed through proper judicial processes. The balancing act for the UK will be to maintain its commitment to international justice while managing its strategic alliances and underscoring its commitment to the future of the State of Israel, but at the same time its commitment to support for the wider Middle Eastern community, particularly the Palestinian community, and, as Keir Starmer has already laid out, support for a two-state solution, unless something better is presented. But the two-state solution seems to be the best solution on the table. And some European countries have of course already anticipated that, and I think that probably is the next stage for Britain. It depends how quickly Keir Starmer wishes to go. Keir Starmer is not somebody who takes action fast. He is very cautious about what he does, which is probably a good thing.